Hello everybody, this is Mr. Kimmel with the Screencast for Life Science. In this lesson, we are going to answer questions you may have about genetics and heredity. One question you may have been wondering is how gender is determined. Recall that females have two X chromosomes and males have one X and one Y chromosome. Since females only have X chromosomes to pass on, then all offspring get an X chromosome from the female. Since males have one of each chromosome, they are the ones who determine the gender of the offspring. If the offspring gets an X chromosome from the male, then the offspring will be female. If the offspring gets a Y chromosome from the male, then the offspring will be a male. By looking at this Punnett square, we can see that each offspring has a 50% chance of being a male or a female. Let's look at how blood type is determined. Recall that there are 4 blood types in humans: A, B, AB, and O. These blood types are the phenotypes for the blood type trait. There are 3 alleles that combine to form these 4 phenotypes. Having more than 2 alleles for a trait is called multiple alleles. The A allele is dominant to the O allele. The B allele is also dominant to the O allele. This means that the O allele is recessive to both A and B. A and B are what is called codominant. That means that they exist together when present together. That is why there is the AB blood type. Punnett squares can be used to determine which blood types are possible in the offspring of 2 parents. Why are there so many colors of human skin? Skin color is what is called polygenic. The prefix poly means many, and genic means genes. This type of trait occurs when many genes code for one trait. The color of a person's skin is determined by the number of dark or light skin alleles that are inherited by a person from their parents. You may have also heard of the term genetic mutation. But do you know what that really means? A genetic mutation occurs when there is a change in one or more of the bases on a strand of DNA, meaning there is an incorrect base paired up. Recall that A and T go together and G and C go together. What if a T binded with a C, where the DNA should have had GCA, it instead got TAC. These mistakes at the molecular level can lead to physical mutations in an organism. Mutations can be large or small. They can have no effect on an individual. They can have a positive effect. They can have a negative effect. Don't assume that all mutations are bad. Recall that our cells have 2 of each chromosome, but it is possible to have a different number of each chromosome. The answer is yes. You can have 3 copies of a chromosome or even 1 copy of a chromosome due to errors in meiosis. An example of this is Down syndrome, which occurs when you inherit 3 copies of chromosome number 21. Are there traits that are determined by our gender? These are called sex-linked traits. These are traits that are located on the X or Y chromosome. One example of a sex-linked trait is colorblindness disorder. This trait is located on the X chromosome. Since males only have 1 X chromosome, colorblindness shows up more often in males. Females have to have both copies of the color blindness gene. So it's more rare for females to be colorblind. Another question may be that if all dogs are one species, why are there so many different dogs? These differences are called breeds. A breed is a group of animals that have been selectively bred by humans for certain traits. This is called artificial selection and is not caused by nature. Recall that a species is a group of individuals that can breed and produce offspring that can also reproduce and pass on their genes. Since breeds can reproduce and make offspring that can pass on their genes, they are not individual species. You may have also heard the term GMO, but maybe you're not sure what that means. GMO refers to genetically modified organisms. These are organisms whose DNA have been manipulated in a lab setting through genetic engineering. An example is genetically modifying crops to withstand pesticides. We still don't know if these are harmful to people or not, but surely eating a crop that can naturally fight off a pest is better than consuming tons of harmful chemical pesticides. How many genes do humans have? Human DNA was first completely sequenced by 2001. It's called the Human Genome Project, if you want to check it out. A genome is a complete sequence of the base pairs in the DNA of an organism. It turns out that humans have over 3 million base pairs and about 20,000 genes. So how different are we, humans, compared to other organisms? Your DNA is 99.9% the same as any other human, 96% the same as a chimpanzee, 90% the same as a cat, 85% the same as a mouse, 61% the same as a fruit fly, and 60% the same as a banana. DNA has been formed artificially by combining constituents from different organisms. This is when scientists take a gene they want and splice it into an organism that doesn't normally have it. We use this process for many uses today. For example, to produce large amounts of insulin for diabetes, scientists insert the gene for insulin into a bacterium which would then produce it. This insulin keeps diabetics alive and healthy. Recessive genetic disorder require two recessive alleles. One example of a recessive genetic disorder is cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is an inherited life-threatening disorder that damages the lungs and digestive system. Treatment has come a long way for individuals, but there is no cure. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.